Shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. With the recent terrible update, people are thinking about the golden age of Clash Royale. And so this made me think, what was the best era in Clash Royale history? Many people say that it was on launch, when OJ was still called Yarn, when YouTubers like Chief Pat and Molt were uploading. Back then, the game was simple and felt super exciting. Some other people may say that the best era is actually right now. Statistically, the game is at its all-time peak. We have Jinxie, we have Ken, we have me, and we still have OJ. Thank you, OJ. That's what we are going to talk about today. We are going to go through every major era in Clash Royale history, talk about literally everything that happened during it, and at the end, decide what was actually the best era in Clash Royale history. And without further ado, let's get into the first era, the Wild West era. This is where it all started. Clash Royale soft launched in January 2016 and went global in March. And let me tell you, this game was absolutely bare bones compared to what we have now. 42 cards total, 7 arenas. You literally had to pay gold to go into battle, which is the most bizarre feature that I'm so glad they removed after just 1 month. The content creators who dominated this era were the absolute OGs. Chief Pat was pulling insane numbers with his legendary reactions and hilarious commentary. Molt was the guy everyone watched for those chest-opening videos that would make your heart race. Nick at Night was doing creative things and overall making entertaining videos. And Orange Juice Gaming was just starting to become the go-to source for actual strategy and tech breakdowns. These creators basically built the foundation of Clash Royale content as we know it. The meta in early 2016 was pure chaos. Hog Freeze was absolutely terrorizing ladder. You'd see a Hog Rider coming at your tower, and then boom, freeze spell, and your entire defense is just standing there while your tower gets demolished. It was infuriating, but also kind of hilarious. The trifecta deck with Hog Rider, Valkyrie, and Musketeer became the first truly meta-defining archetype, and if you weren't running it, you were probably losing. P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince was dominating high ladder before freeze got nerfed, and when Poison got buffed in May, it completely took over and made trifecta even more oppressive. Getting your first legendary card was like winning the lottery. I'm talking about screaming, running around your room, texting all your friends, level of excitement. I remember pulling Ice Wizard from a free chest and my entire week was made. That's not an exaggeration. Your entire week could be defined by one card drop because legendaries were so impossibly rare. The legendary chest didn't even exist yet, and the only legendaries in the game were Princess, Ice Wizard, and later Lava Hound. If you had one, you were basically a god among men on ladder. The super magical chest used to be purchasable for gems, and tournaments cost up to 250,000 gems for the highest tier. The game was pumping out new cards like crazy too. Supercell added 6 new cards in April alone, and they just kept coming throughout the summer. The game felt fresh and exciting because every update brought something new to experiment with. Next up, the late 2016 to 2017 era. The game had enough content to be deep and strategic, but it wasn't bloated yet. The community was thriving, the competitive scene was taking off. The creators during this era were hitting their stride. OJ was your go-to guide on literally everything around the game. Clash with Ash was providing top-tier analysis and deck guides. Surgical Goblin was dominating the competitive scene and streaming high-level gameplay. The Clash Royale League hadn't started yet, but the competitive community was building towards something special. The meta in this era was actually really healthy for a while. After Poison got nerfed in October 2016, the game opened up significantly. Graveyard was added and became a legitimate win condition. Giant Bowler was strong, but manageable. Hog Cycle variants were everywhere, and 2.6 Hog Cycle was born during this time, becoming one of the most iconic decks in Clash Royale history. Royal Giant got buffed and became viable, which was controversial but added diversity. Electro Wizard dropped in December 2016 and became an instant staple. Golem Beatdown was solid. Log Bait started emerging. You actually had options, and skill expression was at an all-time high. Crown chests were the highlight of your day. You'd grind out those 10 crowns and feel genuinely rewarded when you finally opened that chest. Clan chest weekends were peak community engagement. Your entire clan would be grinding together, racing to contribute crowns, and there was this genuine sense of teamwork that later updates just couldn't replicate. I remember staying up late on Sunday night trying to get the last few crown for my clan before the chest reset. Tournaments were huge during this time too. Not the official ones, just random tournaments that content creators or clans would host. You'd join a 1,000-person tournament and genuinely feel like you were competing for something meaningful. Leagues were also added in this era, finally giving players above 4,000 trophies, something to chase beyond just one giant leaderboard. 2 vs 2 became permanent in August 2017 after being a limited time mode, and the community went absolutely crazy for it. Quests were added in October 2017, giving players daily objectives that actually felt rewarding. This era also saw the first special challenges like Triple Elixir and Sudden Death, which kept things fresh and exciting. But before we get to the next era, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. This is genuinely the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and you can play it completely free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. In this game, you're commanding over 2,500 historically accurate tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 nations, spanning from 1920s biplanes to modern fighter jets. They have over 95 million players worldwide, so yeah, it's massive. Now here's what makes War Thunder actually crazy. The damage model is absurdly detailed, no simple health bars here. Every vehicle is modeled down to individual components like engines, fuel tanks, and crew members. Different armor and ammunition behave like their real-world counterparts, so strategy actually matters. And when something gets destroyed, you get this incredible X-ray view showing exactly where the shell penetrated, which components got wrecked, and what caused the explosion. New players and returning players who haven't played in 6 months get a massive bonus pack on PC and consoles, including multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive Eagle of Valor Decorator, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Limited time only, so grab it now. Next is the Clan Wars era. 2018 brought Clan Wars, and for a while, it felt like Supercell had figured out the secret formula. Clan Wars 1, despite its flaws, was genuinely fun and gave clans a reason to stay active together. This era was defined by community engagement and competition among clans. The creators during this period expanded significantly. Clash with Ash was at his peak. B-Rad, Sirtag, and Boss CR were pulling huge numbers. The Clash Royale League officially launched and brought legitimacy to competitive Clash Royale. Team Liquid had their golden age in 2019, winning almost everything in the CRL. The esports scene was thriving. The meta during this era had its ups and downs. Three Musketeers was incredibly strong until it got nerfed into oblivion. Barbarian Barrel became the most used card in the game for like a year straight. Giant Double Prince was running rampant. P.E.K.K.A. Bridge spam emerged as a top-tier archetype. Royal Hogs got added and created entirely new deck types. Minor poison control was everywhere. The Goblin Hut meta in early 2019 was absolutely miserable, but balance changes eventually sorted it out. One thing I remember from this era was that Clan Wars Preparation Day was genuinely fun. You'd play different game modes to level up your cards, and War Day felt like it mattered. There was actual strategy behind it. Trade tokens were added in November 2018. This was very liked by the community, because being able to trade cards with your clanmates was such a massive quality of life improvement. Star levels dropped in December 2018, and getting those golden skins for your maxed cards was the ultimate flex. The leveling system was reworked, so all cards maxed at level 13 instead of having different max levels per rarity. This made progression way more intuitive. Touchdown mode kept coming back during Super Bowls and was either loved or hated depending on who you asked. Emotes were finally added beyond the original 4, making BM way easier. They also removed the super magical chest and added the mega lighting chest, which was actually really controversial. And this also kind of started the next era, which is the controversial era, from 2020 to 2021. This is where things started getting messy. The creator scene during this time saw some shifts. A lot of OGs were still around, but burnout was starting to show. Surgical Goblin was focusing more on Fortnite. Team Liquid scaled back their Clash Royale involvement in 2021 because the competitive scene was changing. But creators like Sirtag CR, Boss, Morton, and others kept pushing content. The meta wasn't even the main problem during this era, even though cards like Mother Witch, Electro Giant, and Firecracker were absolutely broken. The meta issues were overshadowed by progression problems and Clan Wars 2 being terrible. The backlash during this era was absolutely insane. Clan Wars 2 launched in August 2020, and it was immediately terrible. It removed quests, made progression way harder, had no level cap so pay-to-win players dominated, and the river race format was boring and grindy. The community hated it. People were quitting clans left and right. Then came level 14 in October 2021, and oh boy, this might have been the most controversial update in Clash Royale history. Supercell announced level 14 right after the Clash Royale event, where they encouraged players to upgrade cards at half cost. Players who had just maxed their collections suddenly had to start over. Players boycotted Pass Royale, left 1-star reviews on app stores, and flooded social media with complaints. Supercell had to issue an apology and compensate players retroactively for the cards they'd spent. It was a mess. Champions were added alongside level 14, and while they were cool conceptually, they were locked behind such high progression requirements that most players couldn't even use them. Magic items were added in March 2021, and while they helped progression, they felt like a band-aid on a bigger problem. Now here is a fun fact. This era saw Buttongate, where Supercell changed UI layouts and players were accidentally spending gems because buttons were moved. The community accused Supercell of being a cash grab company, and trust was at an all-time low. Next is the recovery era. 2022 was about Supercell trying to win back the community, and honestly, they did a pretty good job. This era brought card masteries, the king level rework, Path of Legends, and eventually evolutions. The creator scene stabilized during this period. OJ, Morton, Boss, and others continued producing content. The competitive scene adjusted to the new CRL format. The meta during this time was mostly made up of new cards. Monk was added and became a meta staple. Phoenix created new archetypes. Champions also started showing up more as progression caught up. Evolutions were added in June 2023, and they completely changed how decks were built. Evo Knight, Evo Firecracker, and Evo Skeletons defined the meta for months. The evolution system was controversial because it was basically level 15, but it did add a lot to the game. Path of Legends as a separate competitive mode was genuinely good and gave mid-ladder players better matchmaking. The season shop added more free-to-play progression. The King level rework to 50 levels gave long-term players something to chase again. 6 new arenas were added to ladder. Daily tasks were introduced, and the Hog Bank became a thing for storing rewards. The Champions Chest gave players a guaranteed way to get champions. The Card Boost Potion was added as a new magic item. Windows soft launch meant you could finally play Clash Royale on PC. And lastly, let's look at the modern era from 2024 to present. 2024 started rough. The game was bleeding players. The community was frustrated. Content creators were moving on. Then Jinxie showed up, and everything changed. Jinxie, a massive Rainbow Six Siege player, started streaming Clash Royale. Suddenly he was pulling 40,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch just playing Clash Royale. The game exploded. Other huge streamers like XQC jumped in. Clash Royale became the 17th most streamed game on Twitch. Jinxie started hosting tournaments with massive prizes. The Jinxie effect revived a dying game. Players on Reddit called him a necromancer for bringing Clash Royale back from the dead. But Supercell was also pumping out updates. Tower troops launched throughout the year. Cannoneer, Dagger Duchess, Royal Chef. 12 new evolutions dropped. Zap and Tesla evolution in March. Goblin Barrel evolution in June. Then September brought P.E.K.K.A. and Mega Knight evolutions, which were accidentally released early and immediately dominated the meta when they officially launched. Evolved Mega Knight with his uppercut ability became one of the most oppressive cards ever. Mid-ladder was infested. Electro Dragon evolution in October was equally broken. Musketeer and Cannon evolutions arrived in November. We also got our first new spell in ages. Merge Tactics launched as a completely new game mode. The Goblin Queen's Journey appeared in June as a temporary story mode with new cards like Suspicious Bush or Goblin Machine, then just disappeared, but the cards stayed. Lucky Drops got reworked. The meta all year was evolution dominated. Balance changes came monthly, but couldn't fix the power creep. Supercell even admitted in May that evolutions were deciding battles by themselves and started nerfing them. Then December brought the Heroes update. 4 heroes dropped on December 1st. Knight, Mini P.E.K.K.A., Musketeer, Giant. Each of them has unique abilities. Knight taunts and gains a shield. Mini P.E.K.K.A. levels up during battle. Musketeer spawns a turret. Giant throws enemies across the arena. It is the same Doomsday Panic as Champions and level 14. But Clash Royale survived all of those. 2024 will be remembered as the year Jinxie revived a dying game, and Supercell tried to capitalize with constant updates. Whether heroes break the game or we just adapt like always is a question we don't know the answer to yet. So what was the best era? Here's my take after looking at all of this. The best era of Clash Royale was late 2016 to 2017. And it's not even close. The game had enough depth to be strategic but wasn't bloated with features. The community was thriving and optimistic. Content creators were at their peak creativity. The meta was pretty balanced. Clan engagement was at an all-time high with crown chests and clan chests. The competitive scene was growing. Getting legendaries still felt special but wasn't completely impossible. Every update brought excitement instead of controversy. That's not to say the game is bad now. The current Clash Royale has more content, better graphics, more cards, more modes, and more ways to progress than 2017 ever did. But something was lost along the way. The simplicity. The community. The feeling that Supercell was listening to players instead of just chasing monetization. The magic of opening a chest and genuinely not knowing what you'd get. The excitement of your entire clan working together for one goal. Does that mean we should go back? No. You can't recreate that magic. The game has to evolve or it dies. But we can acknowledge that for a brief moment in time, Clash Royale was perfect. Not because it was mechanically flawless or perfectly balanced, but because it captured something special that resonated with millions of players worldwide. That's the era I'd go back to. That's the era that made Clash Royale legendary. What about you? What was your favorite era? Let me know because I'm genuinely curious if nostalgia is clouding my judgment or if everyone feels the same way. And yeah, huge thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Seriously, if you haven't checked it out yet, play it for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile using my links in the pinned comment or description. New players and returning players who haven't played in 6 months get a massive bonus pack on PC and consoles with multiple premium vehicles, 100,000 Silver Lions, 7 days of premium account, and more. It's only available for a limited time, so don't miss out. And yeah, that's it guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you soon.